All right, Katie. Well, welcome back. This has been so much fun. So, we've been talking about, how to build a career
Mhm.
and, taking authorship and ownership of your career. So then a career though, we have to kind of start boiling this down a little bit. You have a certain role or a job or
Mhm.
outcomes that you're responsible for producing. And then maybe the subset of that is, well, what are the skills required to be successful and be able to do that? Can you talk a little bit about skills architecture and why the firm believes that's rising in importance?
Yeah, it's been exciting as I've been talking to other CHROs and CEOs, just how many companies are embracing kind of a shift to really focusing on skills,
Yeah.
skills as kind of the fundamental architecture of a talent strategy, and that is something we certainly are doing as well. And there are lots of benefits of this. Um, One is really to create the ability to kind of capture. Um, uh, Kind of the value from a much broader swath of talent, right? So,
Mm.
we've all talked about the paper ceiling and the notion
Yes.
of how do you move away from screening for degrees and even years of experience to really focusing on, does this person have the skills I need? Because when you focus on, does this person have the skills I need, you open up a huge, new universe of potential wonderful talent to bring into an organization or to develop. And so that's certainly something that we're really focused on in our recruiting. We talk about moving from pedigree to potential.
I love
How do
that.
we not necessarily, screen for somebody who knows how to do a McKinsey case interview, as they would on, day one in a team room, but how do we screen for people who have the intrinsic problem solving skills and also some of the expertise and skills that we look for in other areas to kind of bring to the party.
Yeah, so let's just say that again for listeners. Potential, not pedigree. I think that is
Exactly.
just such a powerful, just general idea to embrace because, as you say, it completely opens up whole new swaths of talent
Yeah.
to access versus very narrow, although comfortable and maybe well known,
Yeah.
pools of talent to be. Could you talk a little bit? Maybe this actually kind of even bridges a little bit, Katie, into DEI kinds of things. But
Sure does.
when we expand the talent pool, how does that benefit an organization?
Um, well, one of the things that I think we're leaders on in some of the analysis we did years ago was looking at when you have a team, when you have a leadership team or whatever that has diversity in it, whether it's gender diversity, racial diversity, socioeconomic diversity, it performs better. It just performs better. And I think those results have been replicated in lots of different contexts all over the world and are quite undeniable. That when you have a mix of different people together, they get to better solutions and a more healthy organization. So we see, for example, leadership teams that have a mix of men and women will have a healthier kind of organizational dynamic, and they will then it results, and this is statistically true, results in higher financial performance.
Mm.
So diversity matters and it drives performance. In order to capture the benefits of diversity, you need to have an inclusive kind of work culture so that everybody can contribute to their full self. Um, we have, just as we were talking about pedigree to potential, we used to recruit at about 500 core schools. We're now at about 1,500, and we are planning to go to 5,000. And that just gives you a sense of just the breadth of talent that's out there that we've not been accessing. And that also, going to people with different degrees and with different kinds of majors and different work experiences, et cetera. So there really is a huge benefit, I think, from a real business benefit, but it also then has the benefit of creating a more inclusive workforce in general, and one that is more diverse and therefore performs better from that perspective as well.
We had Julie Elberfeld, who's a former CIO at Capital One, on
Mm-hmm.
sometime last year, early last year. And one of the things that Julie said that just really stuck with me, and it's around this diversity idea, is having folks who do not come from the same background
Yeah.
as maybe senior management that has been around for a long time, was around innovation. And
Yeah.
so doing design for me and what I would buy but I don't necessarily look like the target audience.
Yeah.
Right. And so getting points of view, like, well, I wouldn't use it that way. Like I would never use it that way because, in my lifestyle or, the way that I would use something like this is more like X than the way that you've designed it like Y. And it's very eye-opening because if you don't have those perspectives coming into the dialogue, you don't have the opportunity until you've actually gone to market with it and watch it flop because you weren't listening to who your actual audience is.
Yeah, I think consumer companies have, figured out that they really need to have people in their organization who understand and kind of represent, some of their customer populations. But I think in general, it's so easy to get into a group think kind of situation if everybody has the same background and everybody's been kind of raised to problem solve the same way and think the same way. And so there's real benefit from colliding different points of view. We used to talk, and we were very proud of this, that we had a McKinsey way of problem solving, right? It was top down, 80-20. Lots of people know what the hypothesis driven. We now teach 5 different types of problem solving. And we bring people in with different problem solving disciplines in their background, right? Designers, data scientists, technologists. I mean, all of these folks have different ways of approaching a problem. And you bring that together along with our more traditional business problem solving approach, you really get some fantastic innovative results.
Yeah, so we had the former CEO of Procter on last year. And one of the things that just really stuck in my mind that David said was that none of us is better than all of us.
Right.
And so I love what you're talking about, which is bringing like different ways of thinking about it, coming at the problem from a different angle, almost by definition lends itself to better solutions, or at least, if all I have is a hammer, I only know the one McKinsey way of solving a problem.
Right.
But there's actually a better tool for solving that kind of a problem, but I don't know about that tool because I've never been taught it.
Right.
Well, we're not actually helping the client as much as we could. So, good on McKinsey for like, hey, continuing to learn yourselves and not just being, so tradition bound.
Yeah.
That we can't leave the past.
Well, and that gets back to some of the things we were talking about before, which is in that context, you really do need to have a culture of everyone's a learner and everyone's a teacher.
Yes.
And because we're all listening and learning new things, and we're all also contributing.